Hello Gemini, I'm Tamara and I'm going to do your reading for the last 2 weeks of November, from 15th to 30th of November 2017. And this is a general reading, and this reading is for the Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon and Gemini Rising sign. I hope it resonates with you. If it doesn't, please watch your Moon sign or your Rising sign. For this reading I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot deck. And I'm going to draw an additional cards from the Wild Unknown deck by Kim Kranz. Right, let's see what we have for you. I'll just shuffle a little bit just to concentrate, and then we'll go ahead and see what's last 2 weeks of November are bringing to you, dear Gemini. Okay, in your near future, present, and the recent past. Okay, and the first card for you is the Magician, and the second card for you is the Ace of Wands, and then we have Page of Cups, and the Spirit's message for you is Five of Swords. Then we have Four of Swords in the present, we have Six of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, and the Strength card, which is Spirit's message. We have Four of Pentacles, we have the Hierophant, Queen of Pentacles, and we have Five of Cups. Okay, the first card for you is the Magician. We talk about the recent past, that it's a fantastic card. It's Major Arcana. Tells me that it's not just for the short time period, it's quite a long-lasting effect of this card. It tells me that you had all the powers which you needed, whatever situation was for you in recent past. You dealt with it, you manifested all your powers, you have all the four sort of elements of tarot cards. You've got Pentacles, you've got the Wands, you have got the Swords and the Cups, which represents emotions for the Cups, all our mental capacities, our passion, creativity, and the money, finances. So you had all that, and you firmly manifested all this. The only slightly negative side about this card, sometimes when we have all those powers, we sometimes become a little bit more manipulative. So, watch out not to sort of overuse those powers which is given to you. You know that with the powers comes a lot of responsibilities, so you have got those powers, and make sure you just use them wisely, because you can manifest everything. You could manifest everything in your recent past, but I think it's sort of, because it's such a significant card, it probably applies to the whole reading over here. And then, you started all that, because Magician is a number one, it's a new beginning, new start, and being, in a very advantaged position, having all the powers, you have started something new. Ace of Rods is the new beginning, new start. Could be a relationship, because Wands talk about, it's a fire sign, talks about being very fiery, very passionate about something. It could be a start of a creative project. You might start something, I don't know, maybe YouTube channel, which is very creative, or whatever you started, it's you put a lot of passion into it, this project. As I said, it could be actually a relationship, because next to this card we have a Page of Cups, which is an offer of love. Sorry. But Wands also sometimes, the particular Ace of Wands has got this sort of phallic symbol in itself, and it might talk about, I know it's not a love reading, but if the love cards are coming, I need to read them, so it could be that there's a lot of, it's very passionate sort of relationship, There are a lot of sexual and physical activity over there in this relationship. And there is a new offer of love to you. Page of Cups brings that offer to you. Pages tells me that the relationship on a very early stages. You only started dating, and you probably feel quite passionate about each other, like we always do at the start of the relationship. And as I said, there's a lot of sexual activity and sexual energy over there. Page of Cups is also represents water sign. It could be Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. Sorry, I always forget all those names. I'm so horrible with the names. I'm sorry. And but I don't think that it represents any particular sign. It just tells me that there's a new beginning, a new start of some romantic relationship for you. But having the Ace of Swords, it's quite possibly that this person could be the fire sign. Fire signs are Leo, Aries and Sagittarius, so that could be an option. And the message for you, actually, the Spirit's message for you is to avoid any mental battles, to avoid, because they might bring you victory or defeat, whatever, regardless, but neither victory or defeat will bring you any satisfaction. Well, defeat definitely won't, but if you are a winner in this sort of mental battles, if you're like sort of very argumentative and you are winning in that sort of argument, you might actually, swords are quite sharp. You might use quite a sharp words in this sort of argument, and you might actually hurt people, and they might be defeated. But this victory might not bring you any satisfaction, because that might be someone who were very close to you, maybe your best friend, maybe even just a colleague who was, but with this colleague you used to go have a coffee every lunchtime, and you quite enjoyed that sort of, couple of minutes with this person, but after this argument you will lose that connection, But being defeated as well is not very nice, and I'm sure, but one thing you need to know that this victory is not going to bring any satisfaction to the winner of this argument. So don't argue to people, don't use the sharp words as this, sharp swords. So try to avoid any conflicts. And that's, as I said, it's because we're talking about last 2 months of November, or just because it's recent past, just before that period, maybe in November. And in the present, I see the first card, which is the Four of Swords, and tells me that you need to take a rest. You need to sort of maybe meditate. And Swords is all about mental state. It's what's happening in our head. Conscious, subconscious, and you need to maybe sort of take that time off, and maybe just think in a quiet environment somewhere, and just have some rest, to be honest. Maybe after all, if you did have a lot of arguments and conflicts, it's time for you, maybe that's why it tells you to avoid them, because it's time for you to sort of have some rest, and sort of, because as far as I can see, you've got quite a busy sort of last 2 weeks. So take time for yourself from time to time. The Six of Wands, the card next to it, tells me that whatever you've been doing, whatever you will be doing this last 2 weeks, you will be very successful. Six of Wands is the card of victory. It's also a card of great balance. All the sixes is talking about the balance, having balance in life, and you have got this balance between the passion, because wands are passion, and whatever you are doing, it's also a card of recognition, of being recognized for your achievements, and it's a card of great achievements, and you are working hard to. That's why all these achievements. Eight of Pentacles, which is next to it, tells me that you are working really, really hard. You are master of your trade. Whatever you're doing, I don't know, business, just having a job, maybe even if you don't work, if you're just juggling your family, or whatever you're doing, even if it's like sort of creative projects, because, you know, once I told you it's all about creativity, you're doing it really well. But money-wise, it's good. 8 is a very comfortable number for financial sort of securities, because after 8 we have 9 and 10. 9 and 10 is ultimate financial sort of stability and success. 9 is like also quite comfortable, and 8 is just being on the way to that sort of towards ultimate financial securities. So it's a really good card, but you're working really hard, and maybe that's why it tells you that you need to take time off, and you know, you need to take time to have some rest for yourself. And the Spirit's card Spirit's message for you for this, you know, for this last 2 weeks. Another message for you is the Strength card. Strength card is just this telling you that you need the strength, or you have got that strength to do that hard work, what you're doing, to build that, you know, happy future, whatever you're doing. You have got the strength to do it. But it's not aggressive sort of powers. It's if you notice, there's a lady on the picture, and she is taming the beast, and she can actually tame that beast with her femininity, with her gentleness. So in order to achieve that success which you're, you know, aiming towards, you need the strength, but it's not aggressive strength. It might be quite soft but firm. The card of strength also sometimes talks about Leo, so maybe Leo person is significant for you. So watch out. And then we go to the recent future, and we talks about Four of Pentacles is again financial stability. Money-wise, it's really good for you. It's not fantastic because you're still working, but it's very stable because 4 brings that stability. Number 4 talks about having a very secure base. So you are building yourself in that secure base. Everything is in a balance. You're holding very tight to what you already got. And sometimes the cards got slightly negative meaning, talking about being a bit too tight with your money, the card of misère. And, you know, if you do hold too tight, then it's the message for you would be, you know, just to release a little bit. You know, we're coming to Christmas, so probably will be some spendings. Maybe you do need to hold. Sometimes I sort of think that it's actually quite good to hold on to your money if it's not, you know, if you don't do it all the time, because this way we're just saving towards something significant in the future for us. So, and we all tend to sort of overindulge and spend. So sometimes when the right period when you hold tight, it's probably quite good. And the next card is the Hierophant. The Hierophant talks about the structure. It's either maybe if you work, maybe you work in a corporate company, maybe you work somewhere which has got rules, regulations, and it's also sometimes the card talks about having a structure in your life, you know, like having that sort of rigidity, you know, because you need to do this, you need to do that, but that's the way you need to do it, all that, not having that sort of flexibility of doing what you want, but it's also a card of maybe belonging to some sort of a religion, because that's religion brings sort of rules and regulations, or belonging to some sort of social group which has got its own sort of also rules and regulations. Whatever is there, it's significant for you. It could be, you know, maybe, you know, because of the money. I think because you've got also the Queen of Pentacles. I do believe that with the finances, there must be some sort of a structure, maybe some sort of financial institution, which is, you know, maybe it's a bank, maybe it's, you know, sort of, as I said, some sort of financial structure over there for you. And you've got the Queen of Pentacles as well over there. Queen of Pentacles is the Virgo sign of Virgo, Taurus or Capricorn. And it's someone who is very good with her money. She's very financially secure. She is also quite motherly figure. She is quite down to earth, practical, analytical, likes planning, likes to do all these to-do lists, ticking their boxes. Very, very good support sort of support person. You know, if you need the support and help, she's you know, as I said, it could be a mother figure for you in these last 2 weeks of November. That could be very significant for you. So remember, there's a Virgo person who is very significant, and if she's helping you financially, whatever you're doing, could be, or maybe you can ask for an advice, financial advice, or any practical advice. She's really, really good with that. And the last Spirit's message for you, dear Gemini, is the Five of Cups, is the card of crying, being upset actually. It's about losses. All the fives either losses or fights. If you notice here, there's a fight. Here is the loss. Whatever losses. Cards talks about emotions, so I don't see this reading as a romantic reading. There are a couple of these two cards at the beginning, because for me it's a general reading. So if there were like financial, not financial, if there will be romantic sort of losses, you might be crying, and or maybe financial losses. Maybe you do need this advice of this woman over there. Maybe that's why you're holding so tight to this money over there. If there were some sort of financial losses which cause you so much upset, the Spirit's message for you is there that not everything is lost. If you look at the picture, there's 3 cups which is turned upside down, but there is still other 2 standing behind you. If only you turn your head, you will see those 2, that they're still there. So whatever losses are, it's you know, not everything has been lost. There's still plenty for you left. So, you know, maybe just time for you to, you know, gather yourself and turn around and pick up what's left and move on. Let's see what else, what additional messages we have for you, dear Gemini. Okay, and the first card I've got for you, which is the Five of Pentacles. Probably, yes, there was definitely some financial losses, because 5 talks about Pentacles is about financial losses and loss of possessions, loss of property, home. Sometimes talks about losses of health. So for any medical issues, you need to be very careful. Last 2 weeks of November. So if there will be any financial losses, dear Gemini, remember that not everything has been lost. There's still plenty there left for you. And we have a Temperance. You need a patience and moderation, and that also applies to sort of to money issues. So you need lots of patience and moderations. Temperance cards also represents a sign of Sagittarius, so maybe Sagittarius will be significant for you those last 2 months of November. And we got the Wheel of Fortune. So whatever misfortunes will be happening, if there will be any losses, health or relationship or money, I see it more like a financial losses. Wheel of Fortune, which represents karma, represents fate. You know, it's all turning in your advantage. So Wheel of Fortune is turning. What's you know, what goes around comes around. So it's a very nice card. It's a card of you know, luck, good luck. So it will be all, eventually it will be all sort of ended up on a very positive note for you, dear Gemini. Well, a very interesting reading. There's a lot happening for you. So I hope it resonated with you, dear Gemini. If you would like to elaborate, please contact me for private readings. All the information how to contact me is underneath this video. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in December. Thank you. Goodbye.